Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here. Sorry that I didn't do a video sooner. This is actually gonna be for the decent to good albums of 2022 so far, part 2 video. Um, so this is the continuation of what I left off at back in April. Like I think it was April 26th when I did decent to good albums of 2022 so far, part 1. But this is the part 2 for it. So we're going to start with number 23 to whatever number we get to in this video, and I'll let you know my thoughts on each album that I mentioned. So let's dive into the first one, which is Kalani Blue Water Road. Now, I was surprised with this album. This was good for what it went for. It's been a little bit since I've listened to the album, but I remember enjoying it for what it was going for with the Everything song and some other tracks that were on it. I can't recall what other tracks, but you can remind me in the comment section below, because there were some good moments in the album and nothing too bad. So at number 23, I picked Kalani with Blue Water Road. Number 24 is 3 Days Grace with Explosions. Now, I found this to be sort of good. It has its moments, but it's still an average album for what it went for. Like, I Am the Weapon is pretty catchy for sure. I'll give that praise because I kind of did like that. Lifeline was my favorite song from the album. Champion was a bit of a weird sound with what it was going for, but it didn't sound bad. But Chain of Abuse was another song that I wasn't sure if I was on board with, but it still was a solid track. It's just about someone being abused and all that. So yeah, the last two songs were kind of underwhelming. Like Explosions and the song Someone to Talk to with Apocalyptica. I wasn't feeling for that one. It was very underwhelming. Um, but yeah, Explosions did alright. A Scar is Born is pretty strong of a track. I thought at the time I was unsure what to think of it, but I still think they did an average job on this album due to the fact that there may have been some misses on the album, like uh, No Tomorrow and other songs like that. Champion, Someone to Talk to, Explosions. Those were probably my least favorites, but they weren't terrible. They were just little less of strong tracks. So at number 24, I picked 3 Days Grace with Explosions. Definitely check it out if you want to, because it's not that bad of an album. It's just decent, or at least average. It's in between decent to good, so it's the average kind of album, in my personal opinion. So yeah. Number 25 is Simple Plan with Harder Than It Looks. Now, I thought this was a good listen for sure. I was not disappointed with Slow Motion. That's become one of my favorite songs. 2 was a great song to end the album for sure. Iconic and Anxiety were weird kind of songs. Mostly Iconic was kind of not for me. It was very experimental and not in the best kind of way, but it was average, I guess. It brought the rating down a little bit. Maybe it was decent, I don't remember. But I remember enjoying some bits and pieces of Simple Plan Harder Than It Looks, like Wake Me Up When This Nightmare's Over, the song about the war in Ukraine and all that. So they made it into, they've donated proceeds of their music video and gave it to the people for Ukraine that are struggling right now. So yeah, Harder Than It Looks by Simple Plan. I did enjoy the song Best Day of My Life. That was actually pretty good. But Slow Motion is my favorite out of all the other tracks. Um, and Antidote was pretty strong. So was Million Pictures of You. Congratulations was strong, and so was Ruin My Life a little bit. Ruin My Life has kind of been a downgrade to me a bit, but it's not a bad song. So at number 25, I picked Simple Plan with Harder Than It Looks. Number 26 is Fozzy with Boombox. Now, this was an average album. I enjoyed Sane, I enjoy I Still Burn, Purifier's grown on me a lot more, and Ugly on the Inside has grown on me a lot more, and in a good way. So, not really hating Ugly on the Inside anymore. The way it's sounding, it is a little weird, but I guess with what they were going for, it actually does work for what it's going for. So Fozzy did a pretty solid job on their new album. Relax was probably the least favorite out of all of them, and some of the second half kind of the album is not bad, but it has its moments where it's good or bad, depending on the songs. But at number 26, I picked Fozzy with Ice with uh Boombox. I meant to say, sorry, I almost said I Still Burn. But I Still Burn was a pretty strong track. I like Chris Jericho's vocals in the song and other songs like Army of One and other tracks as well. Like Nowhere to Run was on the album. It made the album cut. So I was really surprised. But yeah, number 26 is Fozzy with Boombox. Number 27 is LMA with Heart on My Sleeve. Now this was an interesting album. Um, It's a good album for what I went for. There's songs like Don't Fuck Me Up, um, and a few other songs that she made for the album itself. Can't remember all the songs, but I remember enjoying this album for what it went for. So, at number 27, I picked LMA with Heart on My Sleeve. I don't remember every song off it, just to clarify. I remember enjoying the album for what it was, but I don't remember this. I haven't really returned to this album that much, if I'm being honest, but I think it was a good album. I just couldn't remember if I liked it or not that much. So yeah. Number 28 is Jack Harlow with Come Home, The Kids Miss You. I think this album was a little underwhelming, maybe decent at least. Um, it's not a personal favorite album of mine, but it made it on this cut because there's some songs I kind of did like from it. Like the song First Class was okay. It wasn't my favorite song, but there was Dua Lipa song that kind of had a good beat and it was going for something and it was interesting. But lyrically, some of the album was a little underwhelming at times. But anyways, it made it on the decent album to good albums of 2022 because I didn't hate this album for what I went for. So at number 28, I picked Jack Harlow with Come Home, The Kids Miss You. Number 29 is Becky G with SK Moss. This one was a decent listen. I remember enjoying some moments in it, but I don't remember if I enjoyed it as much as I thought I would. Like, there's a few songs on there that I'm not sure if I like, but other than that, it was a decent listen. It was not the best album, but it made it on this list. So at number 29, I picked Becky G with SK Moss. Number 30 is Def Leppard with Diamond Star Halos. Now, I enjoyed Lifeless from this album. That was actually pretty good. Fire It Up was. It was okay. It wasn't great, in my personal opinion. But there were some other tracks that were pretty strong. I can't remember every song, but you'll have to remind me in the comment section below, because I haven't really returned to this album in a bit. But I remember thinking it was a decent listen. It's not the best listen, but hey, this is what they were going for. But Lifeless was one of the stronger tracks on this album, and I really enjoyed that. It had a featured artist in it, which wasn't sounding so bad. So Kick was average, but it was not terrible. It was just average, in my opinion. So at number 30, I picked Def Leppard with Diamond Star Halos. It's a decent listen. I guess you can check it out if you want to. Um, at number 31 is Carrie Underwood with Denim and Rhinestones. Now this was a decent listen for sure. Ghost Story was one of the stronger tracks on this album, but Denim and Rhinestones is just too glittery, poppy kind of sound of a song. But I don't hate Carrie Underwood. It's just some of the songs I just didn't connect with too much in this on this album. But hey, that's just my opinion, I guess. But other than that, Carrie Underwood, Denim and Rhinestones was a decent listen. Definitely check it out if you want to, because I think some people may have a different opinion on it. But other than that, for me, it's still getting a 7 out of 10 due to some things on the album I'm not sure if I like. But yeah, number 31 is Carrie Underwood with Denim and Rhinestones. Number 32 is Post Malone with 12 Carat Toothache. Now, I was surprised this made it on the decent to good albums. It kind of held up a lot stronger. Like, Reputation was a pretty strong track. He had good vocals. Lyrically, not the best, but it was still pretty strong for how he was singing it. Post Malone was. So, yeah. Um, Cooped Up was another song that I kind of enjoyed. Roddy Rich or whatever his name is. Uh, Not really feeling for his rap verse, but hey, that's what they went for, I guess. So, the song, Love Hate Letter to Alcohol was probably a really good track. It had really good vocals from Post Malone in it, and Wasting Angels featuring Kid Leroy was not so bad either. So there's hits and misses when it comes to some of the songs on here, like the song Tangerine or whatever it was called, and I Like You, uh, Happy Song, and another one that was a sad song or something like that. Uh, the sad one was actually pretty interesting, but Insane was a pretty sort of enjoyable track. It wasn't that terrible for what it went for. So there was the Weekend one right now, which was not so bad, but the bonus tracks were pretty good. That's what boosted the rating for this up. Um, better late, not better late than never. Uh, I can't remember what the song was called. With the if all these walls could talk, they would tell me sit down and shut the fuck up lyrics. You might know what song I'm talking about. Uh, but I can't remember the song name. But it was uh pretty good for what it went for. Sorry if I paused for a moment. I was trying to think of what to say for that brief moment. But yeah, When I'm Alone is a pretty strong track, so didn't hate that one. And yeah, there were some strong tracks, and then there were some weird ones that I wasn't sure as I was feeling like Wrapped Around Your Finger, I Like You, um, I Cannot Be, or something like that. A sad song was pretty strong, and the Tangerine, or whatever that song was called, it was just, I think it was called Lemon Tree or something like that. I don't remember what it was called, but it wasn't my favorite, in my opinion. But still, at number 32 was Post Malone with 12 Carat Toothache. It's an average listen, so not a terrible album. Number 33 is Grey Days with the Phoenix. Now, I wasn't really crazy about this release from them. Chester Bennington, they overutilize his vocals in this album, and it's kind of disappointing for what it's going for. But in a way, some of the songs did execute decently, so not to say it in a terrible way, because I know some of the members are overutilizing how his vocals should sound in uh, this album and all that. This another memorial album. I think with Amends, they did really good with it. This one, they kind of flopped a little more, in my personal opinion. Sorry, it's letting me know to update my laptop. But, anyways, I think Starting to Fly was pretty strong of a track. Saturation Strange Love was not my personal favorite. I kind of downgraded it due to the fact that some of the tracks on here were kind of underwhelming. So at number 33 was Grey Days with The Phoenix. Number 34 is Nova Twins with Supernova. Now this was another decent listen. Not my personal favorite, but it did alright, I guess. So I don't remember every song off it, but I remember enjoying some moments in it, and some other songs that were a little underwhelming at times. But still, it was strong for what I went for. It's a decent listen. So, number 34 is Nova Twins with Supernova. Number 35 is Logic with Vinyl Days. Now, this was a good album for what I went for. Give me a moment, guys. Gotta pause the video. Sorry, guys. My mom was talking to me for a moment. So, she came in my room wanting to talk to me because I was outside in the heat for a couple hours, so it was super hot for sure. But yeah, Logic Vinyl Days had a song with Anthony Fantano in it, and him talking in it. So other than that, the album was good for what it went for. I didn't hate this album that much. It had some pretty good rap verses from Logic himself. So, other than that, at number 35 is Logic with Vinyl Days. Number 36 is Loop Fiasco with Drill Music in Zion. Now, this is a good listen, or maybe at least an average listen. I wasn't sure what I rated it, if I remember correctly, but I remember enjoying some moments of it. But other than that, it's a good album, I guess. Not terrible in any way. I just can't remember what I rated it, if it was average or good. But I remember some songs I was liking from it, and other songs that were a little too utilized in a way where it's not executing well. So, number 36 is Loop Fiasco with Drill Music in Zion. I'm going to have to return to you for part 2 of this, or section 2 of this decent to good albums of 2022 so far, part 2, section 2 video. So definitely tune into that. This is the section 1 video of it. So until then, hope you enjoyed this section 1 video for what I did for it. I got majority of it done. So I got maybe 5 more albums to talk about, and that should be it, I guess. Unless I have another album I gotta put down on the list that I forgot about. But till then, stay safe, guys. Take care. And as always, I will see you in the next video, which will be the decent to good albums of 2022 so far, part 2, section 2 video.